Oh boy, if you thought I was ready for week 11 last week, I am dialed in this week to give out my picks for week 12. I'm not perfect. I recommended Nick Chubb, and Nick Chubb had an absolute stinker of a game. Little did I know they were going to keep him hostage for Thursday Night Football, and that's on me. I have to be better. I have to be better for my subscribers. I have to be better for my viewers. So what am I going to do in this video today? Be absolutely better and knock out every single one of these picks for week 12. So here are my must-start plays for week 12. If anyone's out there at home that can help me out, please get your boy a White Monster sponsorship. That's all I'm asking for. Hit that like button so I can get a little closer to it. And roll the intro. The first wide receiver you must be starting in fantasy this weekend. I know you're already going to call me crazy. Go ahead and roast me in the comments if you think I'm out of my bird for this one. And that's Wandale Robinson of the New York Giants. Must be played this week. Now, generally, a lot of people would say, yes, Tommy DeVito is being replaced, or I should say replacing Daniel Jones, that there will be a lot more deep shots down the field, but the Giants and Daniel Jones were throwing a lot of deep attempts, and we're connecting on a lot of those deep attempts. So it doesn't sound like that should be the best argument to make for this. But what we do know about Wandale Robinson and Tommy DeVito is that they already have a rapport together. They've already played with each other last season, and this is a great matchup for Wandale Robinson. I wanted to go back and find some statistics on how well Wandale Robinson played with Tommy DeVito last year versus Daniel Jones. But the problem with that is Malik Neighbors was not in the question last year, and that's a big part of the Giants' target share. But let's shift our focus back to the matchup of this game. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 29th in terms of fewest fantasy points allowed to the wide receiver position, and being that there's only 32 teams in the NFL, that makes them a great matchup for wide receivers. So for those reasons alone, and the fact that Wandale Robinson has a legitimate target share in this offense, and his targets are not going anywhere, even with a new quarterback under center, I believe Tommy DeVito will give the Giants some juice this weekend against the Bucs, at home no less. And that makes me really confident in saying you must start Wandale Robinson. I'm not ready to go out on a limb and say you must start Tommy DeVito in this game yet, but I will say, given the target share, given the opportunities that will arrive in this game, and given the matchup, Wandale Robinson must be played. Another crazy name to say must be started at wide receiver this week, but it's true. That's Odunze. And since Odunze came off of the Chicago Bears bye week, he's had no less than 6 targets per game. So let's just call it what it is. This guy is an important part of the Bears offense. We wanted this role to be for DJ Moore. We wanted this role to maybe even be for Keenan Allen. But the truth is, Caleb Williams is very comfortable throwing to Odunze, and they have a connection. And the fact that there is a new shift in offensive play calling and an offensive philosophy and identity for the Chicago Bears, they could just be getting hot at the right time. No, I'm not going to say they make the playoffs, but we should be seeing a lot more fantasy-friendly games from Chicago Bears players. And Odunze is going up against the Minnesota Vikings, who are 28th in fewest fantasy points allowed to the wide receiver position. So these are two matchups with two wide receivers that you may not be thinking as must-start potential or must-start candidates, but given their matchup and given their targets, they're going to have opportunities in both of these games, and that's why Odunze must be started as well. Now let's shift our focus to the running back position, where we have Brian Robinson Jr. going up against the Dallas Cowboys in what is a must-start play this week. I understand that Brian Robinson Jr. hasn't been the most desirable back, even though the first few weeks of the season or the first half of the season, he was magnificent. But at this point, for 2 weeks in a row, we're just going to bet on the Dallas Cowboys defense to be so bad that they cannot stop the run yet again. And last week, Joe Mixon was a boo. This game could get out of hand quick, and if it does, it's probably going to be because the running backs got loose. Austin Eckler also feels like a really good play here, but the truth of the matter is that even though he was targeted a lot on Thursday Night Football, it's possible that it could have been a byproduct of not enough rest to get to Sunday for Brian Robinson to be more involved, and Austin Eckler really played a minimal role in terms of snap count. So I'm not going to trust that he's going to get 8 targets again. Just probably not going to happen. Even if this is a split backfield against the Cowboys, I still like the opportunity and the upside to play Brian Robinson as a must start. Eckler can be started. He is a good play. but I don't consider him as much of a boom potential player as a Brian Robinson Jr. this week. And again, if you missed the video last week where we talked about Joe Mixon and how good of a matchup the Cowboys defense is for running backs, Dallas is 28th in fewest fantasy points allowed to the running back position this year. So this is a great matchup for a great player, and that's why Brian Robinson Jr. must be started this weekend. The next running back we must be playing this week is none other than Rhamondre Stevenson of the New England Patriots. This very boomer bust running back has been scary to play at times this season, as you don't really know if he's going to drop 22 or if he's going to drop 8 for you, unfortunately. But even though the Dolphins defense has been pretty good, Rhamondre Stevenson has an opportunity to be great in Week 12, and that's why he makes this list. The Dolphins are 26th in fewest fantasy points allowed to the running back position this season. So if we know that the Dolphins defense is good, they're probably going to get takeaways if Drake May throws the ball too many times. They're probably going to lean on the run with Rhamondre Stevenson. And given that they're going to be in sunny, beautiful Miami, this is going to create a ton of opportunities for Rhamondre Stevenson to get loose in Miami. And that's why he must be started this weekend. Now let's go ahead and talk about some quarterbacks. He makes the list again this week, and that's Justin Herbert of the Chargers. I said it last week, I'll say it again, we're going to feed the hot hand. This guy, Justin Herbert, is playing out of his mind, and he has another good matchup ahead of him. For the rest of the season, let alone this week, Justin Herbert must be started every single week, and he's probably a top 7, top 8 quarterback the rest of the way. And I'll just keep this brief because I am a fan of Justin Herbert, the player, even though I made a video about why we shouldn't be drafting him this season. I was definitely wrong about that. But I didn't know we were going to get such a fast turnaround to an elite quarterback. But this is a great player in a game that the team must win if they want to go to the playoffs. And it's against a really bad matchup. And it's a really good matchup for them with the Baltimore Ravens. They cannot stop anybody. So I can't imagine them having a game plan to stop Justin Herbert. I also really like Bo Nix and Jared Goff this week. But those kind of feel like more obvious plays. So let's talk about another quarterback that must be started. Wow, I'm giving you 4 of them. Make sure you leave a like down below because I'm just gifting out free game for all of you. And that's Tua. Tua must be started against the Patriots. The Patriots are 23rd in fewest fantasy points allowed to the quarterback position, and Tua is rolling right now. Since he came back from injury, he's played very good. I'm not going to say he's been great, but he's been more than solid for fantasy purposes. This also feels like a game where Miami has to win to keep their playoff hopes alive. They're playing a divisional game that they should win and take advantage of a lesser opponent, and that's why Tua makes this list as a must-start play this week. This sounds really bad to say, but I have to give the good advice when I see it. I feel like if you need a tight end this week, a deep sleeper tight end, you should look no further than Theo Johnson of the New York Giants. I don't know if he's must start if you already have somebody better than him, but if you're one of those teams that's slacking and needs a tight end bad, maybe you waiver added Mike Gesicki and now you don't have anybody this week, don't worry. Theo Johnson is a solid option this week at tight end. Since week 6, Theo Johnson has been dominating the snap count, and in his last 3 games, he's been averaging over 5 targets per game. So we know Theo Johnson is probably going to get the ball again this week. With averaging over 5 targets per game over his last 3 games and finding the end zone in one of them, I don't see why the hot roll doesn't continue for somebody like Theo Johnson. He's got a great matchup. He's got a great opportunity. And maybe even a bump in quarterback play with Tommy DeVito. All the stars are aligning for Theo Johnson to have a solid fantasy week. No, he's not going to be the best tight end. No, he shouldn't be must started. But for those that need somebody and you need somebody in a pinch, Theo Johnson is that guy. And to make things even better, the Tampa Bay Bucks are 27th in fewest fantasy points allowed to the tight end position this year. So, good player, good matchup. I'm really a fan of the kid from Penn State, and I think he's going to have a week. But if you wanted a safer tight end play and somebody that gets that stamp of approval from me as a must-start player, then look no further than Hunter Henry of the New England Patriots. Hunter Henry has been pretty volatile this season. Some weeks have been good, some weeks have not been so good. But with the Dolphins being a good matchup for him, they're 23rd in fewest fantasy points allowed to the tight end position. It feels like Hunter Henry should bounce back strong and have himself a really stellar week. And those are all my plays for this week. And if you've stuck around and watched this entire video, thank you so much. If you like fantasy football content and you like this video, feel free to smash the like button for me. I would really appreciate that. Helps my videos get out to more and more fantasy football enthusiasts like yourself. And if you're new here, you just stopped by, I know a lot of you, 76% of you to be exact, who watch are not subscribed to the channel. Make sure you subscribe down below. Doesn't cost you anything, and I would be hyped to see a new subscriber on my channel. And don't forget to let me know what you think of my picks this week. Am I talking crazy? Am I dropping free game good knowledge for the people that watch and support this channel? Let me know down below. But that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching this video. My name is Turtle. This is Outlier Fantasy, and I will see you in the next video.